everyone. This is Heather Beebe with the next episode of the Unstoppable You podcast, brought to you by Disruption Network, another podcast sponsored by EJAmoving.com, a local mover in the Utica area. They'll do anything from residential to business. They are still open, still working. If you need anything, they are great for your moving needs. Tonight, I have an excellent episode with two guests instead of one. This is season 2, episode 13 with Shelly, Callahan, and Rudo, Swedi. And Shelly is the executive director of the center here in Utica. And I want to ask why, it's called the center. That was the refugee center. And I'm assuming they rebranded or something with the name. I'm not sure. So we'll get into that. And then Rudo, Swedi, is a Congolese refugee who is also a Proctor graduate just recently. Well, kind of like this week, I guess, is wrapping it up. And we are going to talk about all things with the center going on, some cool stuff coming up this month with refugee, the World Refugee Day, June 20th and not. So anyhow, Shelly, Callahan, let's start with you. Tell me more about the center. What's going on with the center? Why is it called the center now instead of the refugee?
Well, thank you, Heather, for having me. And we've been thinking about rebranding for literally about 7 years, I would say. And part of the reason for that was the center, it was formerly known as the Mohawk Valley Resource Center for Refugees. So number one, that was a mouthful. And the people answering our phones were pretty tired of that. But the bigger issue was that we had started to provide lots of other services, and not just to refugees, but to immigrants and to the rest of the community as well. So we started to feel like that name didn't capture all that we were. And so we went through strategic planning and a rebranding process, and we worked with trainer associates, and we're really, really thrilled with the new name, the logo, our new building. That was a separate sort of thing, but that happened kind of at the same time. So a lot of changes for the Refugee Center in the past couple of years.
Yeah, it's been really great to see it come into its own place. I actually am on the board for the Teo Bowman House, and it was so sad when you guys left. Like we were sad. We were sad. Yeah, but I'm proud to see growth and of course, obviously something coming into a building that was vacant and things like that. So, but the new logo and everything, it's all good stuff.
Yeah, we're very happy. And we had been at the old location at Francis de Sales with Thea Bowman for decades, I think. And it felt like home, but we knew that we had to get our own place. We had plans. We wanted to do professional services, and that building was vacant, and everything worked out. Everything kind of lined up for us, and it was the right move. And we're just so happy to be in the new space.
Nice. Yeah. One of the things that people don't realize, I think it's easy if you're from Utica. We know that we're known as the city that loves refugees. Maybe not everyone knows that.
It's the town that loves refugees.
The town that loves refugees, yeah. But refugees have been coming here since the 60s from Vietnam.
Yeah, well, I know for the center, in 1979, things were started. The center was actually incorporated in 1981. A woman named Roberta Douglas started the center because she was watching her television at home at her kitchen table, and this is just such a great story, and was seeing these Amerasian children that had been displaced, and they were, stuck in Vietnam, and there was just no place for them. And she, thought, what can I do? I have to do something. And so she got together with a local pastor, and I think the superintendent of the Utica School District at the time, and I forget the name, but those three folks got together, and that was kind of how the refugee resettlement program started in Utica.
Wow. And how was that in relation to other other cities and towns across the country? Because I know it is one of the largest ones in comparison to the size of the area for taking in refugees. Was it historically around the same time that refugee centers started to pop up in other places, or?
Yeah, because of the Refugee Act of 1980. So yes, you started to see refugee resettlement come to life in the U.S. It was, and it remains today, a partnership between the federal government and largely faith-based organizations. So our center operates under Lutheran Immigration and Refugee Services. That's sort of the pipeline to how we get our refugees. But, Catholic Charities is involved, Church World Service, Highest, which is a Jewish organization. So it is still largely a faith-based endeavor.
Okay. But with many faiths, it seems like
many faiths, yes.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Rudo, let's hear. How long have you been here in the United States?
It's almost 4 years now.
Almost 4 years. Yeah. And how do you remember your first impression of the center?
Oh my God. At that time, I didn't even speak this much English. I didn't know any word of English. I was like, what should I do? And I'm the oldest of the family. All my parents look at me, they need something, they need help. None of us speak English. So it was kind of like, I got so much pressure.
Yeah.
If I just remember all the way back, I remember all the memories. And compared to right now, I feel like God is the best. Yep.
Yeah. What are some of the biggest differences that you felt that you learned about in a beneficial way from the center as they helped your family resettle here?
That helped me with English, because when I did here 1 year and a half, they started putting me in a lot of stuff. They started taking me to be an interpreter for other people. So I learned a lot from the refugees, because I started being that kind of person that need to help people, learning from people, be an interpreter. So those kind of refugee people helped me with English also. So yeah, they helped me so much.
Yeah, yeah. Now, how big is your family?
We are 7. My parents and my little sister, my siblings.
Nice. And you all came together, arrived at the same time?
That's true. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So Shelly, when a family of 7 comes, let's talk about what happens. The center, I guess I'm not even going to assume anything because I have no idea. So I'm going to let you start with this one and just kind of explain.
Sure. So, we do refugee resettlement. So we are connected to our federal partners who help us determine what our caseload is going to be. So we do resettle Congolese refugees at the center. We also do Burmese and Karen and Iraqi SIVs, and every center is a little different in the country. They all have their own different caseloads. And so we would see pre-arrival a few weeks out that there was a family of 7, and we would get the general, the bio data of the case. So a mom, a dad, the kids, how old they are, what sexes they are. And we start to prepare about 2 weeks before folks arrive, because that's about how much time we have to get ready. And so we know that we have to find housing that's going to be suitable for 7 people, and we have to furnish it. And we have to put everything that we're contractually obligated to put in there because the State Department monitors the program. We do receive money on behalf of arriving refugees, and we use that to pay the rent for the housing that we find and to furnish the housing that we find. We pick up the arriving family at the Syracuse airport. So we would take a van, and in their case, there might have been 2 vehicles. We do have a van that holds that many people, but it just depends on availability. We're going to make sure we take all the car seats for the kids, because we know their ages. If it's in the winter that they arrive, we're going to make sure we take jackets and boots, because a lot of folks coming from other parts of the world don't have winter clothing. And we're going to pick folks up at the airport with a case manager or someone there who can speak their language and is culturally appropriate to receive the family. Then we're going to drive them to Utica, and oftentimes the flights arrive at 11 p.m. or midnight. That's just kind of the way things happen at the Syracuse airport. Even when I fly into the Syracuse airport, it always seems to be late at night. So a lot of times we're driving folks to their apartment, their home, midnight, 1 a.m., and we take them to their place, and we, open the doors, we show them everything. We have a ready-to-eat warm meal for them. That's part of our contractual obligation. We show them all the things at the apartment, how their door locks, the plumbing works, the electricity, if they're unfamiliar, how the stove works, the refrigerator. And again, if it's at night, we tuck everybody into bed. We make sure that they're, safe and warm. A lot of times there might be family reunification. So there might be people in Utica waiting for their family to arrive. Mm-hmm. So that's always a really, really happy occasion. And then if it's late at night, we turn out the lights, say goodnight, and we pick them up the next morning and start intensive case management. So we work intensely with new arrivals for 90 to 180 days. And we do everything from, help them establish their identification documents here, get their social security numbers, enroll their kids in school, do refugee health assessments, refer them to our employment department so they can get their first jobs. There's so many appointments in the first 30 days. It's a really busy time for us, and I think a really exhausting, stressful time for newly arrived refugees.
Mm. Do you always have somebody who speaks their native language?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, if we were in a pinch and couldn't do it, we could maybe use a phone interpreter, but we provide language services at the center ourselves. So I can't imagine a time where we wouldn't be able to get someone to go there and do that. And a lot of times it is family that's here expecting folks to arrive. So it's just wonderful. But we also like to get what we call free cases. So those are cases that come here with no attachment to anybody here. And we know in those cases that the center really has to be a good support system for that family or that arrival.
That's nice. So you do take note of the people that do require a little bit extra support versus those who have family who are a little bit versed in.
Right. We've looked at everything, pre-arrival. We've looked at English language level. If they've got a preferred faith, we know what that is. If they have any serious medical conditions that have been, identified, we know what those are. So we're as ready as folks could be, I think, to receive whoever comes to us. And we really do, it is not a one-stop, or it is a one-stop shop, but it is not one size fits all. And the caseworkers that I have working in the resettlement department are former refugees. Many of them went through the process here, so they really understand how it feels to arrive on the other side of the world, maybe in a completely strange new place, especially I think for folks that come from, Africa or Burma, and they land here in January or February at 11 o'clock at night. And I'm always like, gosh, this must be just quite a shock. But the resiliency, the hope, the energy, they really do come here. They want jobs. The kids are so motivated in school. I think that's the thing that I was always, I've been doing this for 14 years and I would keep admonishing my children, like, you don't understand what a gift access to education is. If you could talk to some of the refugee youth that arrive here and all they want to do is go to school and do the best they can, and their whole family is counting on them to do well and make the American dream for the entire family. So when Rudo says there was a lot of pressure on her when she got here, I have heard, especially for the eldest, I have heard that time and time again.
Are you the oldest, Rudo?
Yes, I'm the oldest. Yep.
Yeah. Well, is that your sister sitting next to you in the red dress?
Yeah, that's my sister. She's behind me.
I have girls, and I recognized your look when you looked at your sister for her to be quiet, not interrupt. I know that look. I am a mother of girls. Yeah. What was the biggest shock for you when you arrived, Rudo?
The biggest shock was that I was the oldest at that moment, and all my little sister was like the youngest one. They were like under 16 something, and I was the only one who was 16 at that time. So my parents, none of them knew anybody in Utica. So I do all my effort to help them out. So I try to go, and I really appreciate that my caseworker helped me so much. So she tried to speak me in sign languages and tried to explain me everything that I could understand at that time. So I was like, I get confused a lot about that moment, but right now I can say like everything goes well. Refugee center helped my family. My mom went to school. Right now she can speak a little bit of English. All my sisters and we went to school. Right now me and my little sister, we graduated from high school. So refugee center helped us through with English, with a lot of stuff, with how to meet. We didn't know anybody at that time, but we meet other refugee center as part of my family that they could speak my languages, and we make like as part of the cultures. So that helped me a lot.
Yeah. What was one thing at your house that you noticed like, wow, I didn't have this before? Do you have something that you can think of?
As a refugee center, my parents coming from Congo, so they moved in Tanzania as a refugee center. So we were born in Tanzania, and life that we were like Tanzania, but it was like a village. So life there was very complicated. And then once we came here, I was so shocked that there was a lot of stuff that we could have at that time. We could sleep out nice bed, we could have nice chairs or nice couch or all those kind of stuff. So I was so shocked to see those kind of stuff on my eyes. I was like, oh my gosh, this is like something that I never seen before. Yeah.
Yeah. So your parents were already refugees when you were born?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was their dream? Where were they wanting to go?
My parents, their dream was like, they want us to come in a nice place. They were like, we want you to go in America to have an education so you can help us in the future because we're getting older now. We don't have anything to do. We just depends on you, my kids. If you go to school and have a nice education, maybe in the future you might help us. That's what was their dreams.
Yeah. Okay. And what kind of work do they do?
My dad doesn't work.
Okay.
He's an SSI because he's in his 70s something.
Okay.
My mom, she's working on DHL company. She works, yeah.
Okay.
And I work on Saturday and Sunday as a weekend job. Yeah.
Where you don't have to share if you don't want to actually, but
it's on the Pathfinder Village. It's like an health thing. I'm helping people there. They're like Down syndrome people, so I help them with a lot. Yeah.
That's nice. That always takes a very special heart.
Yeah.
So now you graduate high school, and you've already told me this, but I want you to share. What's your plans now?
My plans now is to start college because I talked to my advisor last week. So I have an appointment with him on Monday, June 15th. So I have to talk to him about my schedules and how I should go to school and when is school starts. So I already applied everything about college. I just wait when my schedule starts and when I'm going to start school.
Yeah. And share what you're going to study and where.
Yes, sorry for that. So I'm going to start nursing. As I said before, I'm going to start nursing, but I wanted to become a doctor, but I just bring my memories back. I have to start with being a nurse practitioner because the nurse practitioner is like a really good measure. I wanted to just be a healthy person to help people in the hospital and stuff. Maybe in future, I might continue with my education to be a doctor. So I want to start off at MVCC. And then I'm going to start there 2 years. After 2 years, I want to transfer to a different school so I can continue with my education. Yeah.
Did you have something that inspired you to choose that career?
Yes. Something that inspired me. I want to help people in community. I'm really a person that want to help people, older people, even young people. And I have that kind of heart because there are a lot of people that helped me too when I was in a bad condition, when I didn't have medicine, when my mom and my parents sick. So when I bring all those memories, I feel like I want to help people back. Yeah. That's what inspired me the most.
Yeah, that's really sweet. And So going back, so before you came to the U.S., where were you? Where were you born? It was
Tanzania.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And how old were you when you left there to come here?
I was 15, 16, almost 17.
Okay. So you spent the first 16 and a half years in Tanzania in
That's
a
true.
refugee village?
That's true. Yep.
Okay. And was everybody from the Congo, or was it a mix of different nationalities?
We are mixed, every different nationalities. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you miss your friends from that village?
Oh yeah, and I actually talked to them. Some of them already come here to visit me. It's really cool. I was so happy, so excited.
Yeah. Have a lot of them made it to a final destination, maybe America, maybe other countries?
So when I came here first, there was my friend that was already here in different states, but it's not this state that I live in. So I try to find them and ask them about this country. So they're like, this is a nice country. They like welcome people very well. And we're so proud to see a lot of stuff that we didn't even get to see. All our parents used to do was like farming, that's all. And most of school in Tanzania, girls didn't go to school. It's only boys have to go to school. And girls have to help parents with going to farm. But here, we have a big opportunity. Girls can go to school, boys can go to school. Like everybody doesn't choose like which agenda are you, or are you female or male? No, they just both they have to go to school. So that's how they used to tell me a lot of stuff about this country.
Yeah. So you didn't go to school until you came here?
Yeah, I went to school when I was young, but when I went to continue my school, because they were like, in primary school, you can go to school, and then after you finish primary school, in middle school, so it's very difficult for girls to go to school.
Okay. And when you get older?
That's true.
Okay.
Unless your parents have money to pay for school.
In a private setting.
That's true, yeah.
Okay. Okay, interesting. So what was the, I guess, most scary thing about coming to school in the United States?
I remember the scary thing was I didn't know how to speak English, and I didn't have any friends in school. So I was like, what should I do? Who do I have to ask to help me with how to get in class? How should I use the bathroom? How should I ask this word in English? So those kind of stuff was like really so difficult for me. But like the first 2 weeks or 1 month, I used to it. I started asking people. I started hearing like words from people. You should ask this. You should do this. Sometimes I used to do my sign language. What's this? I tried to learn a lot of stuff at that time.
Like mimics. You mean
That's
like
true.
when yeah. I'll share that I studied abroad. It's nothing like being a refugee, not even compared. But I understand the feeling of not knowing the language, and I got really good at mimics. Like I'm hungry, I'm tired.
That's true.
Yeah, it's a very brave thing to do. It's very brave, and your English is very good.
Thanks.
Very, very good. Any special teachers that you remember in Utica that were just right away, you will never forget them?
Yes, I have a very special teacher. Like I can say in general, all of them were very special, because that time I used to speak like French, a little bit of French, because I didn't know how to speak English. There was some teacher that know how to speak French, so they come to me and write little notes if I didn't understand them well. They try to figure out which way they should make me understand. Like all my teachers, I can say I just remember them because they did a very good thing to make me understand, like how I should be in class, how should I react in front of everybody or in front of friends, how should I make friends with people, how should I speak in front of anybody. Yeah.
Nice. So at MV, you're going to stay at home, go to class. Okay. And after MV, what is your plan, your idea?
I just want to transfer maybe Sunipali for my next 2 years. I want to start 4 years first. I want to study at MVCC 2 years and then transfer to a different college, maybe Sunipali, maybe in Syracuse, maybe I don't know where, but that's my dream. First, I want to done with MVCC first. That's what I want to do.
Yeah. Nice. So, Shelly, for you, let's talk a little bit about before they get here. I know that's not your responsibility as much, but I think you're probably aware of the process, and just maybe just share it to educate a little bit about how actually challenging it is and how much time it takes for these families to come through this process to even arrive at your door.
Well, just listening to Rudo's story about, she was born in a refugee village and was there for nearly 16 years or 16 and a half years and waiting, people, and that is not uncommon. Refugees can be in, refugee camps or other places where they're just kind of warehoused waiting for a final destination. So, I think right now, and the number keeps going up by millions all the time, but the latest thing I read was there was 60 million people displaced on the planet right now. Now, they're not all refugees. To be categorized as a refugee, you have to be recognized by the UNHCR. So what that means is that some representative of that agency has come to your refugee village or your refugee camp or wherever you are, and you've been registered, your family's been registered, and you've gone through an interview process and you've told your story, and an officer has recognized you as a refugee. And then there are, some protections that come along with that once you're designated as a refugee. But, less than 1% of all refugees ever travel anywhere. So, really think about that. You're more likely to hit the lottery than to be able to travel to, the US or some other country that receives refugees. And so, and I should also just say that the definition of a refugee is someone who has had to flee their country of origin due to persecution or genocide or maybe gender violence, or, there's a list of things. And so it is someone who is displaced from their country of origin, not by their choice, and they can't return. And so then what happens is, they're recognized as a refugee, and then, it's kind of considered, well, would it be possible for them to return to their country of origin? Has the war been resolved and it's safe now? Or did whatever natural disaster maybe displace people? Is that, rectified and people can go back? If not, then can they stay in the country that they first fled to? So, could Rudo's family have just stayed in Tanzania forever? But the thing is, a lot of times the countries that sort of receive the refugees first, they're never going to get citizenship status. They're not going to be able to join that society. They're not going to be able to get work, and their kids aren't going to be able to access education and medical care. So no. And so then, the third option is resettlement, to go to a third country or maybe a fourth country and be resettled. And literally that happens to fewer than 1% of all refugees. So that's how Rudo, that's how she came here. That's how all the refugees we receive come here. And their stories are all different. They come from, different places in the world. We also receive SIVs. Those are folks with what's called a special immigrant visa. And most of the folks that we get with those are Iraqi right now. So those were folks that were helping our military in, Afghanistan or Iraq or other places in the Middle East. And so we have resettled a number of those cases. But overseas processing, they're identified by the UN as a refugee. Then to be selected to travel to the US, there is literally years of security screening that folks go through. There's interviews, there's biometric data, there's DNA testing, there's, they go back and forth with this interview process over 6 months, 18 months, really looking for any inconsistencies in anyone's story. And if anything pops up, that family or that refugee does not travel to the US. There's also health screenings that happen prior to their arrival in the US and that continue after they get here. So that's kind of the pre-arrival situation. But I think it's important for people to understand, you know, they sometimes ask, why don't refugees learn English in the years they spend in the refugee camps before they come here? But the reality is less than 1% of those folks are going to travel anywhere. And, you know, Germany does refugee resettlement, Sweden, there's other countries too. So it just, you know, it doesn't make sense. It's a pretty, it's not an existence that anybody would choose. Nobody wants to be a refugee.
Yeah. Yeah, Rudo, do you remember, and maybe you don't, but maybe you do, for your parents, did you see some changes for them emotionally when they arrived in the United States and began to live the life here? Did you see any changes for them, you know, in compared to their time, your childhood in Tanzania? Did you see changes for them?
Yes, absolutely. There is a lot of changes that I see. In Tanzania, they were farming, and then they were so like they didn't get some like they were starving, no food, and then they're healthy and body wasn't like right now. Right now they're healthy and they have nice body. But in Tanzania, they were so skinny because of they didn't have food or have some money to buy something. So I see a lot of different, I can say. Because right now they just relax and eat all the time that they want. They just don't have any stress about life. They just sit down and eat. And they see like America is like a very good country and they just take care of them very nicely than Tanzania were.
Yeah. What about the weather?
Sometimes the weather is just not nice for them because they don't like snow at all. So once it's coming snow, they always complain about it. They always talk like, "Oh my God, it's gonna be cold. We don't know what we should do." Because in Tanzania we used to have two type of weather like rainy and summer. That's all. Right here we just 3 seasons. It's 4 seasons actually, I guess. So. Well, it's all comparing, and they just compare all the time. Once it's get this season, they always complain about it. So, yeah.
What do you miss the most about Tanzania?
I miss my family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a lot more family in that refugee village?
Yes, I have a lot of family. I have my sisters there. They were married, and then and then my uncles, like I have a big family in Tanzania, I can say that.
Yeah. So you have more siblings that stayed that were older there?
Yeah, the oldest ones.
Okay. Yeah.
They're like 4 of them, I guess.
So altogether you're 11.
We are like more than 11 because my dad married 2 wives.
Okay.
Yeah, so we are like more than 11.
Okay. So 7 are here.
No, here we are 5 plus my parents.
We are 7. Oh, yes, of course. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And how old is the youngest?
I am 21. There is the one that is 19 right now. After her, there is one that is 16, and then 17, and then 14, and the last one is 11.
Yeah. All girls?
Yeah, we all girls.
That's fun. That's like my house. I have 4 teenage girls here too.
Yeah, it's like a girl's house.
Yeah. Your dad. How is your dad manage that?
My dad is 70.
Yeah. Is he?
70 is almost 71. I can say.
Yeah. Does he get stressed out with so many girls?
That's true, because they make a lot of noises and he doesn't like that.
So what is your favorite thing about the United States?
No, my favorite thing about United States is like, I spend a lot of time on computer playing stuff or learning something, and then sometimes I just get so much time talking with friends. So it's like all the connection that brings out, like it's like a different word that I can say. Like I make a lot of time talking with the friends, or sometimes I just read my books that like my favorite books about healthy, like science and stuff. Yeah, this is all my favorite stuff I like to do.
Yeah. Now, do you have a lot of friends from different places, or?
Yeah, I have a lot of friends actually. Once I started school at Proctor High School, I'll make friends with people that are from Asia, Korean people, like everyone. I just make friends with everybody. I didn't choose like a boy or a girl. No, I tried to make friends with everybody. Yeah, because I'm like I want to be like social to everybody. I'm that kind of person. Laugh a lot to people, try to make fun around. Yeah.
See, like that's so cool. That's so cool because not everyone has the opportunity to say, I go to school with people from all over the world.
Yep.
You know, you're in like a small city in New York in a very rural area, and you go to school with people from all over the world.
That's true. Yep.
So what do you think is like the most common dream of students in the Utica school? Like the most common for all your friends, what is the most common thing?
I can say to all my friends the most common thing, like they all want to be nurse. They all like their dream is just about dreaming about being nurse, dreaming about helping people, doing something that might bring some good like to the environment. That's all their dreams. Like they all have like kind of the same dream as mine, but we just have a little bit different in it. But we all have kind of the same dream. Like we all have the same path, I can say. Yeah.
Yeah. And now do you think that you I don't know if these are good questions, but I'm curious. Like when I meet different people, I'm so curious to know what's different, what's your favorite thing, what's the thing you miss the most from in your old home, things like that. But do you guys do that with each other? Do you talk about like
Yes. Most of the time I used to ask like, what do you guys do? You guys were playing when you were kids. You guys were like having some fun, like something like, and I usually show them the stuff that we used to play in my house with my friends. I was like, yeah, we did the same thing too. We used to have those kind of thing. We have to do this. So it's like we all have the same connection, I can say, as a whole. We have the same connection.
Yeah. Like an unspoken sister brotherhood of coming through like a challenging experience or something.
Yeah, they all have the same. Sometimes there's a lot of people that when I share my story with them, and then once they share their story back, sometimes I feel like we all have the same stories, like life stories.
Yeah, that's powerful.
Yeah.
Have you met anybody else who came from the Congo in Utica?
Yeah.
Is there a lot?
No, we were like 3 families, I can guess. Sure. And then there's like 2 of them, they have a family member in different states, and then they call them, they're like, we already know about this country, so you guys can come here because you are new. We're gonna help you all getting an ID or getting this, because we already know everything about this country. But once we come here, we were like, we didn't have any family member in this country. But I have my friends that were already here. So, and my parents, I asked them, if you guys want to move, you can just send. They're like, no, we don't want to move. Even though we are struggling in Utica, but I like Utica. Utica is very quiet. Utica don't have a lot a lot of problems, and I like you guys went to school, you have a good education, you can speak this magic English, you can help me when I go to the hospital or going south, like every way. So I'm just gonna stay here. I'm not gonna go anywhere. So that's why we stay here. But the other families moved because of their family were already here, and then they wanted to help them.
Yeah. I have a couple comments. I want to read them from the computer. So Sean, this is my boyfriend. He's asking, do you like pizza? Did you hear me?
Oh,
yeah, Rudo, you. Do you like pizza? I mean, I like pizza. I'm sure Shelly likes pizza.
I like pizza.
I'm sorry. Yeah, actually, I eat pizza a lot, like than anything else I can say.
Is that, yeah? What is your favorite food?
It's pizza and what is that? Chicken tenders.
Oh.
Noodles. Like there's
typical
like
kid. Typical.
There's like a lot of American food that I eat a lot of Americans because of my friends at school. They used to teach me, and I eat a lot of Asian student food. Also, they teach me how to eat. So, yeah, I take a little bit of every culture.
Yeah, that's awesome. What's the food you miss the most?
I don't know.
Maybe your parents make it. I don't know. Maybe they make it. Do you cook a lot of food from home in your house here?
That's true.
Yeah.
We do.
Well, you're gonna have to make something for me because I like different foods, so I'm gonna wait for that.
There is like this kind of food like every single day we cook in my house. You call like fufu. Sometimes you can call ugali in my language. So most of the African people love to eat that kind of food. Yeah, that's my favorite.
What's
food.
the base of it?
It's like a flour, corn flour. So you just put little water, like it doesn't matter, like hot water, and then you just boil the water, and then you just put the flour in, and you start doing. Yeah.
So it's like a stew or like oatmeal almost. But
maybe I can just try to find it here in my cell phone so I can show you like what exactly I'm talking about.
Okay. So I have some other comments. So Svetlana Djurjevand, I don't know how to say it without slaughtering her name, but Rudo is a very nice and friendly herself, so she definitely has a lot of friends. Thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. And then Emily Hansen, she's saying, thank you, Rudo, for sharing your story, and thank you to Shelly for your commitment to welcoming our new neighbors.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
I feel like saying my story right now is gonna help other people out there and say their story also. So it's like a beginning of like opening for everybody to share their story.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. So you have a really cool event coming up, and I'm just really proud that you're able to do this and that people are talking about it, because the more we can talk about these things, the more we understand how important the center is, what you do with, that places like this exist even after they come and they're here and they're getting settled. So talk about the walk you have coming up and what that looks like.
Yeah, so it's called A Walk in Their Words. We're celebrating it on June 20th, which is International World Refugee Day. Traditionally, we've always had a big party in Utica for Refugee Day. And in the past years, we've had it on the front lawn of City Hall. We've had a citizenship ceremony and just a large gathering, bike giveaways, traditional performances. And unfortunately, COVID sort of put the kibosh on all of that this year. And so we came up with this virtual walk run. And I'm just so excited how it's kind of come together. We've gotten local refugees to tell their stories, and we have them recorded. And so for the event, you can download via SoundCloud the stories of refugees. You can listen to it in your earbuds while you walk or run or do whatever you want while maintaining social distance. And you can literally do this anywhere. You can do it in a park. You can walk around your neighborhood. You can do it on your treadmill. You can sit in your recliner in your living room if you want to. And do this. And we've also partnered with refugee centers across upstate New York, from Buffalo to Albany. So this is a first time ever. And we're all working to promote this event, to build awareness, build community, and to raise dollars. And so the event is $30 to participate. The money goes to our agency and other agencies that do what we do across upstate New York. And you can actually select the particular agency you want your money to go to, or put it in a general fund. We have so many folks supporting us. I want to shout out to Patrick Fiore. If you go to awalkintheirwords.org or to the centerutica.org website, you'll see Patrick's art. It's amazing and fantastic, and I'm so thankful that he's allowed us to use it to promote the event. We have Utica Coffee, the zoo, the Red Cross, lots of folks contributing to the virtual goodie bag that folks are going to get for participating. So you'll get coupons to Utica Coffee, to JK Lumber, things to do from the Children's Museum. I mean, it's just really a wonderful event with lots of supporters. And we also have Facebook presence. So you can go on Facebook and change the frame around your profile picture. So you can have a frame that's a walk in their words. Just lots of great stuff happening around it. And I'm really, really excited that it's happening across New York State, because New York has really has a history of being welcoming to immigrants and refugees. It has a history of being tolerant. And we receive in Utica lots of secondary migrants, refugees from other part of the country that move to Utica. And they come here for opportunities, for jobs, to join friends and family, but they also come here because Utica has a reputation as the town that loves refugees and as a town that really knows how to welcome folks. So we're so excited to have this event kind of out there and be bigger really than ever. It felt like COVID-19 was kind of crushing our hopes for the event, but in some ways it's allowed us to think bigger.
Yeah, and I think you've done a great job getting creative. To me, storytelling is something that connects people. And I've always really enjoyed that, and is in my personal life. And I can think of as a child, even asking my grandmother to share stories of her history and her life, and how that made me feel so connected to her. You know, so when I saw this event, immediately I was like, I have to get her on here, because what a great way to connect people. When you can hear their story, you can imagine some of the things that some have been through. But when you hear it from their own voice, it gives that little bit of, I don't know, the heart into it. Because you can't even empathize because you don't understand, but at least you can hear it from their voices, and how exciting it is to be here, and how grateful they truly are for.
The stories are remarkable, and we have gotten them from refugees in Buffalo and Albany, as well as several in Utica. And I think we have over an hour of content of refugees sort of telling their stories in their own words. And I've heard several, and they're just remarkable.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
This is what I want to share after you guys finish talking.
Oh, the food. No, go ahead. Share it. This is the dish.
Yeah, this is my favorite food. I don't know if you...
Okay.
So this is
so how do you spell it?
It's fufu. It's F-U-F-U.
Okay. Fufu.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is what African do every single day, because all African like this kind of food. It's like our favorite.
Yeah.
It's delicious. I've had it.
What do they spice it up?
Huh?
Is it spicy, or is it like flavorful, or what is the taste like?
It tastes very good. We don't do any spicy food, and African don't like spice food.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of flavors do you enjoy in the food?
It doesn't have any flavor. We just eat it. Because our parents taught us how to eat it, so we just eat like that.
Okay.
It's not any different. Yeah. It doesn't taste sweet or anything. No, it just tastes like that. It just tastes as corn. You know how corn tastes?
Yeah. Like a sweet.
That kind of taste. Yeah.
Okay. So if there was one thing, Rudo, that you would share that you have learned in your young life that would inspire everybody else to think differently, what would it be?
Let me just remember about it.
All right, how about Shelly can go first, and you think about it, Rudo, because you're younger, so you can use more time.
Thank you.
Shelly, based on your experience in your position as executive director of the center here and the things that you get to see that probably aren't always easy to witness or whatever, what would you say your answer to that would be?
I honestly maybe lost track of the question there, but I'll tell you that doing this for 14 or going on maybe 15 years now, you know, I hadn't met Rudo really. I know she's been at the center. She looks familiar, but I don't get to see every arriving refugee. We resettle hundreds of people every year, or we had been until this latest shutdown. And I think what I would say is just how, you know, how amazingly alike we all are. There's so much other out there right now, the other for whatever reason, color, gender, sexual orientation, you know, where you're from, what food you like. But, you know, I see families come in from all over the world with the same sort of hopes and dreams and drive and, you know, goodness. And they bring everything. You know, it looks like they don't have anything with them, maybe a plastic bag and, you know, not even the right clothes for the weather. But they bring everything that they have, everything that's important, all their hopes, dreams, ambitions, food culture, faith traditions, and they bring it to Utica. They bring it to us. And, you know, Rudo is going to be, I am positive, an amazing nurse. And she's already doing great work at Pathfinder Village. I don't know how she learned English as well as she did, as fast as she did, but I know that she did. And I know that she was then identified by our center as someone who could help us with interpretation with other folks. So, you know, there's remarkable human beings all around us. And we are blessed to have a resettlement program to bring the people here that we get. We're blessed.
Yeah. Absolutely. I love that because we look at them and think they come empty-handed, the clothes on their backs, but they're so full of love and life. And yes. Rudo, when I was asking you about the common thing, the most common thing you see in your friends, you said their dreams, you know, and I think that was a good thing. And that's kind of what I was hoping I would hear because living in Utica among all the refugees, the one thing I noticed is that they all have the common dream of wanting to be happy and free and able to live their life without somebody saying they can't. And then it's just beautiful. And I'm honored to live among so many different cultures. My direct neighbors, we share a driveway, are Burmese, and they are just so fun. The kids are so funny. And to see them come, I was here the day they arrived, and it was in 2016 when we were going through so much change here in America, and they were Muslim. And I went outside and I just shook their hands and I welcomed them to my neighborhood. And they'll never forget that. They remind me of that I came outside to them and did that. And they always bring me food and just, they're like truly givers, you know, and you know that nobody comes here with a lot of things materialistically, and they don't have a lot of things, but they have so much love and so much desire to be here, more than some people that are born and raised here, you know, so that's really special. So what about you, Rudo? Did you think about what's something you've shared that you've learned?
I haven't learned to work so hard to help parents, because our parents are like the most thing that we can work for them. Like we can work hard to help parents, because at the end of the day, the parents are gonna tired, and we are the only one that are gonna take care of them. So I learned that from them. Working hard is a very good thing in life. Just work hard, listen to people, listen to the elders, listen to everybody that gives you good advice about life. You should go this way, it's gonna help you. You shouldn't go do this, this is not good for you, this is gonna hurt you in future. So that's the good thing that I learned, like you should work hard, focus. That's what I should share with people. And never give up when somebody want to disappoint you, like you can do this. No, just keep up with your dream. Just keep up doing what you like. And that's all I learned. Yeah.
Nice. Shelly, share again, where can people find information about the walk,
You can go to awalkintheirwords.org, or you can go to the centerutica.org website, and it'll has a link to that as well. And we're on Facebook. So look for us on Facebook, the Center Utica on Facebook. And we're going to be, we're going to hopefully going to flood social media in the next couple weeks. And I really invite everyone to please walk with us June 20th. You know, we are the town that loves refugees, and we're really counting on everybody's support. And I want it to be a big, lovely celebration of what we do here.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I would encourage everybody to check them out on Facebook. I think it's valuable information. You shared a nice article today about Vietnamese refugees coming here, kind of, you know, the influence of the Black Lives Matter on the refugee community, which is really, really cool. And I love, you know, and when you said, Rudo, that you want to be a nurse because you want to help back. I mean, that's a powerful statement. You're a young girl, and to recognize that, I think it's amazing. And if more people thought like that, we would see a lot more progress in this movement. Hands helping back, and for those that helped us, I love that. So check them out. Emily is also posting on the feed here, walkintheirwords.org. And Shayna Pugh is saying, Rudo, you have such a great spirit. You inspire others. Keep going.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So thank you so much, ladies, for joining me here tonight. I think it's a great, great thing that you both have going on very differently. Two people that have crossed paths in a really important way. But here, like, Rudo is spreading her wings and giving back into the community in ways that you could never imagine. But the fruit, what do you say? The tree that you are working on, Shelly, is bearing its fruit, right? Or how is that saying? I'm like thinking of these like different ways to say that. So I thank you a lot for all that you're doing over there. I know it's so important to so many people worldwide.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Heather, for having us on.
Absolutely. So thank you, everybody, for joining us for another episode of the Unstoppable You podcast with me, your host, Heather Beebe, right here on Disruption Network, where we have unstoppable people, unstoppable stories, unstoppable you, right here on the D. Have a good night, everybody.
You too. Thanks.